We love cake so much we decided to make it a full-time business. For me, Sammie.
And me, Bronya.
Join us on our journey of discovery as we meet fellow cake professionals, artisan cake makers and home bakers who will give tips and advice on the Business of Cake Making podcast, glitter included.
Follow us on Instagram and listen to us on Spotify, iTunes, Podbean, or wherever you listen to your podcast. Sign up to our newsletter and visit the blog at daisycakecompany.co.uk.
Today, I'm very, 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 very excited to say that we have a contestant who was on the Great British Bake Off, Keith Barron. When I looked him up, because I did a bit of Googling on him, he's a deadpan accountant. That is what came up that made me laugh. But having talked to you for a few moments just now and watched you on the TV, I think you're brilliant. So welcome, Keith, from the Great British Bake Off. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. I'm very well. It's I feel as though I've got my life back a little bit.
Really? Yeah.
Arguably, the last 3 weeks was very hectic. We had to go and film an Alice in Wonderland party day.
Really?
Which coincided with party week.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of that was social media content.
Yeah.
And then I made the mistake of booking a week's holiday, so I had to go for a week's holiday straight. And as soon as I was back, we needed to go up to film the final episode of The Extra Slice.
Wow.
Then there was a lot of kind of the aftermath of the final being shown and the extra slice being shown, and kind of this week I just feel like I can take a bit of a breather. And
now you're on the podcast with us.
I know. There's a few little exciting things. I had to judge the junior school bake-off competition last Friday.
Yeah.
So it's all very interesting things to do. And as I say, eating and talking about cake is really not a problem for me.
No, I can agree with that.
Yeah, we're fine with that too. How did the judging go? How did it feel like to be on the other side?
Quite a challenge, because when you're faced with an absolute sea of cake, you can't eat all of it, and you need to make take a short list from what looks nice. But I don't have to tell you, and I don't have to tell anyone from watching the judging in the Bake Off, it's not necessarily the cakes that look the nicest that taste the nicest.
Yeah, your wagon wheels for starters, let's face it.
Exactly. And also you have to make careful judgments as to what of these cakes have genuinely been made by a 9-year-old and which have been made by a 9-year-old's parents.
Yes, that's right.
Do you know what I mean? You have to think, that's too good.
Yeah,
But some of the ones that clearly were made by the children were extremely good.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice. That is nice.
Yeah.
So I'm going to just dive straight in, and I'm going to ask you, how did the process of applying for Great British Bake Off go? Because I've noticed there's Paul Hollywood popped up on my social media feed this afternoon going, are you a good enough baker? Do you want to apply? So what made you want to apply, or how did you go about it?
Right. Well, this year was the first time I'd applied, and I'd said to people on a few occasions that I've been baking since I was a small child with my mum, and I've generally had quite positive feedback about stuff that I've baked, but I've been conscious that it hasn't looked particularly good, and I've always been a little bit awestruck by some of the showstoppers that you see on the series and thinking, well, I couldn't possibly do anything like that. Mm-hmm. But the year before last, my partner booked me on a patisserie weekend at the Ashburton Cookery School in Devon.
Nice.
And then shortly after that, a cake school opened in Fareham called Mr. Baker's Cake School.
We've interviewed him.
We've interviewed him.
Yeah.
Well, I would say that Mr. Baker is my baking guru.
Really?
I give him a lot of credit for my appearance on the show. So I went to a few courses with him, kind of sort of learn how to operate a piping bag and how to torque cakes, and so I learned a few skills, and I said to people I spent quite a bit of time in, I call it raising my prettiness game. So I made quite a bit of effort into making my cakes look a little bit more presentable. I was fully conscious that I was light years away from being the next Kim Joy, but I was quite pleased with the progress I'd made.
Yeah.
So at that point in time, I felt okay. I can give this a go. I was getting nagged is a wrong word, but more and more people were suggesting I ought to give it a go.
They obviously saw something in you then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, possibly. Yeah. So this year, the previous series, I wouldn't have had the competence to apply for that. Whereas this year, I felt I could give it a good shot.
Yeah. So have you been baking? So you've been to Rob's, Mr. Baker. Had you baked much before then?
Yes, I've always baked since I was a child. Mainly cakes.
Right.
Mainly cakes, but a lot of it. If you look at my bookshelves, I've got books from a number of Bake Off contestants that I've had a go at a lot of their recipes. So I've always been a keen baker, but like I've got a book by a previous contestant called Liam Charles, who now presents the Junior Bake Off. But I would say 90% of the recipes in this book were just too far outside my comfort zone for me to try a year ago.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas now I'm comfortable at giving them a go.
Brilliant.
So that's the kind of progress I've made in the last year.
Wow. So
did you have to do any? Sorry,
no, go, carry
on. Did you have to do any baking for your application for the Bake Off?
Yes. So I don't think it's any secret that the application form itself is quite a difficult document to fill out. Possibly if you two work as professional bakers, you wouldn't be able to.
No, I don't think we can.
We can't. No.
So you wouldn't have looked. So basically, this isn't giving away any secrets, but the first question might be, have you ever baked a cake? Tell us about the most involved, complicated cake you've ever made. So you might spend a certain amount of time answering that question and maybe giving them a picture of the most ambitious cake you've made. Mm-hmm. So then the next question is about biscuits. Have you ever made a biscuit? Tell us about the most involved biscuit you've made. Have you ever made a loaf of bread? Tell us about the most... And then it goes on from bread, pastry, stuff, and it goes on and on. And there's a lot. And so, like for example, one of the questions was, have you ever made choux pastry? And I didn't want to say no to too many of the answers.
Yeah.
So at that point in time, it prompted me to start practicing making choux pastry, so I could say I've done it. Mm-hmm. So for me, there was a little bit of baking, just so I could complete the application form to my satisfaction. So there wouldn't be too many holes in it.
So just doing the application form actually encouraged you to do more baking?
Yes.
Wow.
To do some yes. There was one bit that said, have you ever made phyllo pastry? And I think
life's too short.
I won't tell you on your podcast what phrase I said when they said, "Have you ever made phyllo pastry?" But I hadn't made phyllo pastry.
Who makes phyllo pastry? Seriously.
Yeah.
So there was things like that. Yeah, but the same. Yeah, you could say that.
Yeah.
But,
They've done it on the show before.
They have done it,
haven't
they did.
Yeah, people might say whoever makes custard creams,
Yeah, that's
but
true.
you know, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wish I'd practiced those before the test.
They're not easy,
So,
are they?
Yes. So it isn't. I think that the application form itself sorts out who's serious about applying.
Yeah.
If you're not serious about applying, you won't get through the application form because it takes a lot of time and effort.
Right. Yeah. So then, did you have to audition face to face and do something?
Yes. Yeah. It's probably, without going into too much detail, it's probably about a 7 or 8 stage application process. Two of those involve baking. There's one where you have to make some bakes that are judged and discussed over Zoom.
Right.
And then the final audition, you need to go and do a technical with you need to take some bakes up to you need to take some bakes up to them so they can actually taste it, and you have to do a technical against other people under sort of time constraint conditions.
I guess not everyone.
And with a camera in your face as well.
Oh.
Yeah, so they need to they need to judge if you can deal with baking under pressure while somebody is asking you questions about yourself and about what you're doing.
I guess not everyone gets to that point, though, do they? You know, obviously, you've got the whole way.
That's probably the last. I don't know if it was the last. They were in groups of 12. There were at least 4 groups of 12. There may have been 6 groups of 12.
Right.
So it could have been the last 48 or 72 where you actually have to present your cake and do your technical audition.
Gosh. Wow. I wasn't expecting that. I don't know what I was expecting, but I wasn't expecting
Well, I'd said to people that one of the things that that kind of pushed me over the edge to applying was a baker from the previous series, and I think it was Janusz, the baker from Brighton, who he was famous for saying he was the star caker in Bake Week. Anyway, Janusz said something along the lines of he was amazed at what he was able to achieve when he was pushed outside his comfort zone. Mm. And I thought, I fancy seeing a bit of that. I fancy seeing what I might be capable of. Mm. But I didn't expect to be pushed so far outside of my comfort zone so soon after pressing send on the application form.
Yeah, before you're even there.
I'll get a little bit of a runner to me saying, yeah, all right, yeah, I'm ready to be gently nudged outside my comfort zone. But no, they pushed me straight out of it.
Wow. Yeah.
Straight away.
Making sure you're okay for the telly. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
How did you feel the first time you met Prue and Paul? And did you meet them for the first time in the tent?
Yes, I did meet them for the first time in the tent. I think when two of the guys that made the final were interviewed, they used the word surreal an awful lot. So I won't keep saying the word. It's already been a bit overused. It's a peculiar feeling because generally I think the people that apply to be on the show are big fans of the show. Yeah. And so those individuals are very familiar to you. And it's just quite a strange feeling to see them. So we didn't really get to meet Paul and Prue beforehand. Alison made a point of coming to introduce herself.
She's a good
presenter.
Yeah,
I loved her. I think she just slotted in perfectly.
Yeah, I think she's done really well, hasn't she? Yeah. Yeah.
I say three things about her. I say she's a force of nature. She could charm the pants off anything in 30 seconds, and I love her to pieces.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
But I think because she was new to the whole series, she was the one who kind of engaged with the group of 12 bakers more than the others who'd sort of been there, done that sort of thing. So she was as excited to be in the tent as we were. So
I was going to say, she almost seemed as excited as all as you were to be there. She was like, I'm doing this.
Well, I did say to her that both her and I clearly loved every second of being in the tent, and we couldn't not show it.
Yeah.
It was kind of obvious in what we said and did how much we enjoyed being there, and I think she was a fantastic addition to the show. I really do.
Is, yeah.
It's funny when you meet someone who is famous, who is on telly, that you see all the time, because you feel like you know them already. Because I met someone in a pub, I was like, hi, hello, and then I thought, I don't actually know who you are. And then I clicked, oh my God, you're famous.
She's very humble, and she's fully always remembers that she got a big breakthrough, what was effectively a reality TV show. She mentioned a couple of times, she said, I was the second person eliminated from my series of Big Brother all that time ago.
Really?
Wow.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
I
thought she lasted to the end because she's just like
she was the second person eliminated.
Gosh. So how is it walking into tent? I know it must be.
So I haven't really answered your question, have I?
No, Prue and Paul.
It is quite a strange experience, because generally the first time I kind of encountered Paul and Prue as a pair was when they came to talk to me about my first bake, my signature chocolate vertical layer cake. And because it's your first bake, you're obviously a bit anxious. You want to do everything right. You've got, I don't know how many things on the go, because you've only got 2.5 hours to do it. So you are panicking. You weren't panicking, but you were fully focused on your bake, and there was a lot of things going on. And then all of a sudden you look up, and there's Paul and Prue in front of you, and about I can't say what number of cameramen there are around, but there's an awful lot of cameramen.
More than you'd have in your
tent.
normal kitchen.
A lot, yes. And then you're on the spot, talking to them when they're interviewing, and think, if I say something stupid now, it's going to go out on the telly, isn't it?
Yeah.
But surprisingly, it's and it is a strange feeling when they're so familiar. But they're lovely people. They don't, So that was what it was. That was what it was like.
We've interviewed people like Cherish Findon and Eric Landlord at places like the Cake and Bake Show, and previous contestants at the Cake and Bake Show, but that they're kind of out of context of what they do, whereas you're in the reality. It's like virtual reality. You're suddenly in all the things that they do normally. That's how you see them. That's how you perceive them in the tent. Talking to people.
It's kind of pinch yourself moments. The first time as a group you walk down to the tent, and then the first time you walk down to yourself in the tent, I said to people, I had bruises up my arm. I was pinching myself so much. I think, is this really happening?
Oh, it's so lovely. Yeah. So lovely.
Sorry, I'm loving talking to you. I got distracted by my book. So, how has life changed since you've been on the Great British Bake Off?
Have you skipped a few questions?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
She's done questions in a different order.
I'm wittering on.
No,
it's me.
I wasn't prepared. I wasn't prepared for this question. I thought you had a load more to that.
So what I did is I wrote all my notes down, and normally I print them, and when I wrote them, I rearranged them.
I've got them printed. I've got them printed.
So she's more professional than me.
So how many questions has Sammie skipped then?
Oh, at least 20. No.
Okay.
Here we go. Have you always baked? Is that the next question? There we go.
Yes, I have always baked. I think we may have covered that, and I do a lot of cakes.
Yeah.
Mainly cakes and pies, and that my partner always jokes about my neediness, and there was a little bit of that.
Yeah, I did see that because I rewatched your episodes today, and I did see that they called you Needy Ned.
Yeah, there is a bit of that. That like if I give a bake to someone and like I haven't heard back within a couple of hours, I'm sort of find an excuse to text them and ask them about something without blatantly saying, "Have you tried it yet? What did you think?"
Yeah.
So I'm a bit like that, and it's not. I can tell you for a fact because it's not a new thing. I remember making an apple pie for my family when I was about, I guess I was about 13, 14, 15, something like that. I made an apple pie, and I remember sort of whining to my mum that Dad hasn't said anything about that apple pie, and she looked at me and said, "Don't be stupid. He's had 3 slices tonight. He keeps going back to it. Surely that's all you need to know."
That's good enough.
And so I know from that experience that this neediness isn't a new thing for me.
It's just reassurance. That's what it is.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I think that I don't think I'm alone in that, but
to be honest, I've been baking professionally for 13 years. I'm still the same. I'll give something to my husband and go, "Do you like it? Are you sure?"
What do you think?
I'm glad I'm not the only one who's desperate for reassurance.
When you came out of the tent per se, did you have a break in baking, or did you bake straight away?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I think the whole experience really fired me up.
That's interesting.
And I couldn't wait to get baking again. It was different for a few of the others that were in there for a few more weeks.
Yeah.
I think they felt they needed a break because you were a bit
quite tense.
Frazzled. And a number of people sort of comment about the age profile of the bakers, but there is a physicality to it. It's quite intense pressure, and you're baking for a lot of hours, and you have to do that from a long time. Pretty much from the moment that they say you've been selected as one of the 12 to be in the 10, it really ramps up.
Right.
And you're being pushed outside your comfort zone, doing stuff permanently till you get in the tent, and then so. Because I was only in there for 2 weeks, I wasn't quite as physically drained.
Right.
Yeah. And had a cupful of baking that some of the others that maybe went a week 7, 8, or 9 had done. So I couldn't wait to start using a few of my skills. But you need to, I think I said a few things, you need to be a little bit careful of the type of stuff that you're baking and giving away to people to not make it obvious what you've been up
when you were
to.
Practicing and stuff, because
my name. When I finally got revealed in September, I thought my next door neighbours would say, "Oh, we knew something was up. We knew something was going on, but we didn't quite know what."
Yeah,
because you were giving us all of these different bakes to try, but they didn't know. Were very surprised.
So they were just enjoying the bakes regardless.
Yeah, and I tried to switch it around groups of different people. I didn't constantly give bakes to the same people. I mixed it up a little bit. So I couldn't wait to get baking, and I haven't really stopped since.
Good. Right, I'm going to ask you a question that's not on the list, but I am intrigued by it. Going back to being in the tent, right? So you do all this practicing at your home, in your home kitchen, and then you're suddenly put into a tent, which, I mean, let's face it, we all know how our ovens work at home and how our mixer works at home. How was that first time baking in the tent with like a new oven and a new mixer and new surroundings?
I didn't find it too much of a challenge,
Right.
because you can take in your own tins if you want to. You can take in a lot of your own equipment, and some of the equipment that we were given was a lot better than the equipment I have at home. Like ever since I've been in the tent, I've bought myself a top of the range zester, and this sort of, I was going around saying there's not a lemon squeezer around, but there was this contraption
Right.
that you can use to squeeze lemons, and I bought one of them because it squeezes lemons. Brilliant.
And everyone needs a good lemon squeezer.
And sometimes at home, you know you might have a series of bowls that you can use.
Yeah.
But you just shout at one of the assistants, "Wash up that bowl for me now," or "Can I have another bowl?" Or so you're right. No, I didn't really know. But you ask, "Can I have another?
Yeah.
Can I have another one of these? Can I have this?" And because by the end of the challenge, you're asking a little bit more assertively.
I need it now.
And the thing is, because often when you bake yourself, you go through a process and you wash things up.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, that's
you've got your
right.
favourites
But you're
and the
not on a
other,
time crunch then, though, are you? You don't.
No,
you've got time to do your washing up.
One of the strangest things was like the first time when you do an audition. The first time you do the audition is the first time that you experience creating a war zone on top of your bench, and then just leaving it for somebody else to clear up.
Oh,
That's
how
like the
lovely.
dream, isn't it?
I know. And then you say, "Can I do this? Can I do that?" And they say, "No, get away. We'll do all this."
Wow.
Oh, living the dream.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a nice perk.
Yeah.
To have all the clearing up and tidying up done for
I
you.
bet it is. So, okay, how has life changed since you're on Bake Off? Has it changed?
There's a lot of yes, in small ways. In small ways, there's a lot of really nice things that have happened in connection with the Bake Off. No, I would say that for all the 12 people in any series that go on in a tent, it's life enhancing for all 12. It's going to be life changing for, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4, 5, who knows how many of the series. For a few of them, it's going to definitely be life changing. But it's not like for example, it's fair to say I don't get recognised as much as some other people do that maybe have a more distinctive look about them or something. Like I'm quite close to Nikki, the Scottish lady with the beaver. That's the easiest way of explaining it, isn't it? Scottish lady with the beaver. I'm quite close to her, and she's the same. Like she takes 2 hours to go around the shop because she's constantly getting cars. Whereas me, I kind of loiter around the home baking section of Waitrose for half an hour, hoping that somebody might. Exactly. Honest.
I'm off the telly.
So it's fair to say I've had maybe 4 or 5 times people have come up to me and said, "You're the one off Bake Off," and it's lovely because they're genuinely quite excited to see you.
Yeah.
And it's fantastic. And there was a little incident where I said I went on holiday, didn't I? And I think that the morning I went on holiday, I took delivery of a cookery book. Somebody, you get a few freebies, don't you? Somebody sent me this freebie cookery book. I thought, well, that looks interesting. I'll read that on the plane. Honestly, I wasn't trying to get. I know it looks a bit needy.
Was it the Bake Off cookery book?
On a plane. Well, it wasn't, but it was. So anyway, the air hostess said, "Oh, that recipe looks really good. I might have a go at that," and took some pictures and that, and then her other air hostess colleague says something along the lines of, "I think he was on the telly programme. I think he was on Bake Off." So she come and speak to me and she "Oh my God, I'm mortified that I didn't recognise who you were." And because I wrote her a little note in the book and gave her the book.
Oh, that's so lovely.
And you know what I mean? It really made her day.
Yeah.
So it's lovely to be in the position that you can make people's day by just doing things. And like some of the kids and parents were quite pleased that I went to this junior school bake-off thing. And so, it's lovely. It's lovely to be recognised for being on the show. Yeah.
I know what you mean. Wow, don't.
Yeah.
Because we haven't been on the show.
No. Are you still in contact with everybody on a WhatsApp group, or have you met up apart from the final?
Yes, we've done a few things. We're all still in contact with the WhatsApp group, and we're all planning to go out on a visit at some point, or get into a group of 12. We're not sure how people are going to react to that. One of the producers said to us, "You've got no idea," because we organised this a couple of months ago. They said, "You've got no idea what it's going to be like if they see all 12 of you together in a group. People are going to go."
Yeah, they're going to.
So we're still in contact. We had a few months ago, myself, Nikki, Dana, and Amos met for lunch in a gorgeous restaurant that Amos recommended in Piccadilly, because my idea was to go up. Giuseppe, who was a previous winner, was doing a book signing for his new book, and there was going to be 3 other people there with him, previous winners. There was a fellow called David Atherton, who won it a couple of years ago. Jürgen was there, who does a bread book, and a French lady called Hermine. So 4 of them were doing this book signing in Waterstones in Piccadilly. So I said to Amos, I fancy going up there. Do you want to come, Amos? Because I knew he was in London. And he said, yes. So me and Amos were going to have a lads' night out. But then Nikki found out about it, and she was there on her extra slice week. So she hijacked our lads' night out. And then Dana didn't want to get left out, so she came with us. But we sat. Well, it was probably the best experience. But so me and Amos and Nikki sat at the back of the audience, 150 people or so, watching the book signing, and all of the 4 established bakers did a bit of a Q&A. And then after about 45 minutes, when it was quietening down, the compere, David, he said, you lot have run out of questions for us. He said, but I've got some questions for some audience members that I've just spotted. And he came to us at the back with a microphone, and the audience turned round and they gasped.
Excellent.
They gasped when they saw me and Nikki and Amos. And that was the first time we've had this sort of, like,
recognition.
Yeah. You know what I mean? We were in our element. Nikki had a few glasses of wine. She loved it.
Because last year
She wouldn't mind me saying that. I'm not sure if Amos knew how to cope with it. It was a bit overwhelming for him.
We went to the Cake and Bake Show last year, and last year I think the series was still running when the Cake and Bake Show was on, and they had a lot of the people from last year's show and they were mobbed all where they went, absolutely mobbed.
Nikki and Saku got mobbed, and there's a local Facebook page called Leon the Solent Matters and More, and generally people moaning on there.
We all have them.
There's something to grumble about. And after the series had finished, I said, I thought a few of you might like to see a couple of pictures of when some of my friends come to visit me in the summer. And there's pictures of us in some well-known sort of Leon Solent restaurant, cafe and pub.
Yeah.
And I thought,
it was on the seafront, wasn't it? Because I've been there. Is it Blue Lane Cafe or something?
I did that. And I thought, about 20 people are like it, and a load of people have got, who are these people? I don't know any of them. I don't watch any of this. Don't watch any of that. That was rubbish. I haven't watched it since it changed from BBC to Channel 4. I stopped watching it with Mel and Sue left. Anyway, that's what I thought would be. And about 700 people have liked it.
Wow.
I cannot believe how many people were so. It's just because it's Saku, I know that.
But I don't know. I think the Bake Off is a national treasure, isn't it? You know, it is a national treasure, and you've been part of that national treasure. So
yeah, I know that there's only. I mean, I've done the maths. There's only ever been 168 participants.
Exactly.
So I'm one of this family of 168, which I'm proud to be.
And we do love it. And it's not just loved here as well. So I follow quite a few bakers on Instagram from America, and they call it the Great British Baking Show. And I think they get it 2 or 3 days later than us. And they are always talking about it on Instagram. Yeah. So it's not
but one of my friends in my backstory, he's got a reputation, but all he did was take a bite of one of my cakes and say, "That's delicious." Well, he does a lot of business over the States.
Right.
So he's got quite a few business contacts in America that spotted him on Netflix. Didn't have a clue who I was, but then all of a sudden Derek's there scoffing this cake, having his little bit of fun. And he was on my extra slice as well.
Oh, was
he got to come to my extra slice,
5 minutes of fame.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Enjoy it.
So you went along to the final as well. You attended the final.
Yes.
Which when was the final? That was back in May.
The final was on the 9th of July.
Right, okay.
And the Sunday that we got invited to go was a beautiful day.
Yeah.
I think the Saturday wasn't a very good day.
Yeah.
And I had a little chat with Paul Hollywood's, I think she was his fiancée then, she's his new wife now. I had a chat with her and she said she was there last year and the weather wasn't particularly good last year. But when the weather's nice, it's the most beautiful day imaginable.
Because it's all out on the lawns and everything. It's a proper party, isn't it?
All out on the lawn. We were allowed to take 6 guests. That was quite a difficult call, actually. That and the extra slice, you're given a limited number of guests you can have, and it's quite difficult to make the choice. And so I took my partner and our 3 sons and her mum and dad. And I think I said on the extra slice, the best bit for me was my mother-in-law meeting Alison Hammond. They had a massive hug. They argued for about a minute over who was the most beautiful out of the 2 of them, and Barbara is nearly 80. My mother-in-law is nearly 80. She's adamant that she don't get starstruck.
Wow!
And I said she had a look on her face like a giddy schoolgirl.
Oh, how lovely!
Honestly,
how lovely!
So excited, and like my sons are like mid-20s, and I think I'm a bit of a twat, actually. Anyway, my sons were there, and they went, "Bloody hell, Dad, how did you get into this?" And then one of them said to me, he said, "I never thought I'd ever say this, Dad, but Alison Hammond wants you to sign her wooden spoon." So it's a lovely day to be able to, and I'm not saying that blasé is the wrong word. I'm not saying you get blasé, but after you've seen the tent and you've seen Prue and Paul and Noel and Alison, after you've got over that initial excitement, you're more familiar with it, and you forget that all of these new people coming along, they've never, look, there's Paul, there's oh no.
Here's my mate.
It was a really lovely day.
That's lovely.
And of course, everybody's got to keep it secret as well.
Yes.
Yeah, that must have been so hard.
That's the thing. I'd been accustomed from about February time to not say anything, just to not say anything. Whereas then you've got to sort of expand it out to other people that have to keep secrets. So, yeah.
Fantastic.
What happens?
And not,
sorry.
yeah.
What happens to all the food? All the bakes?
It all gets eaten.
Does it?
There's a lot of camera people and support staff. There's a lot more people around that tent than just the 12 bakers.
Do you try all each other's as well?
Some people do. I think if there was an award for star taster, I would have romped it. So there are samples of stuff that's around.
Right.
The camera crew have a bit.
Yeah.
I think I got some really nice feedback about my first bake from the judges, but then a cameraman came up to me and said he'd had some, and it was absolutely delicious. And that was almost as nice a feeling as the judges, because he could have had any of the cakes.
Yeah.
You know what
And
I mean?
he's probably tried hundreds of cakes. He's probably tried all of them over the years.
So that was a real confidence booster for me. Hearing one of the cameramen say that he tried my chocolate cake and it was lovely. Yeah.
It's nice to know it's not wasted.
It all goes.
Good.
It all goes. And yes, you're right. You can taste other people's bakes, but you have to be a bit careful, because if you start having the bakes that one or two people have made, it's almost like you're showing them favouritism, isn't it? And you don't want to upset any of these friends.
Yeah.
So I think, I'm going to have to try a bit of everybody.
Yeah. That's what I do. I totally.
Yeah. It's only fair. It is only fair.
Yeah.
Right, so thank you so much for coming to chatting to us, Keith.
You're very welcome.
Have you got anything coming up that we should be watching, that we should be taking notice of, that we should be follow? How do we follow you on your social Instagram?
I don't think I've got anything. I've got an Instagram page.
Who are you on Instagram?
I won't ask you ladies your ages, but with Instagram, I feel like I'm in a nightclub surrounded by people in their 20s.
Yeah, I get that.
And I'm not entirely sure I should be. And they're all doing fantastic things. And I feel that if I try and do these fantastic things, it'll be like a 60-year-old trying to dance like a 20-year-old in a nightclub, and that would be undignified, wouldn't it?
No, not at all.
I do my bit on Instagram. I'm called Keith Barron 6.
Right.
And I'm sure you can find me, because all the other
found
we all like each other's posts.
Yeah.
And some of them are very. Matty's got about 200,000 followers.
Wow.
He does, give him his due, as well as winning the show. He does create exceptionally good Instagram content, and some of the others do as well. They're all much better at that than I am. But I'll give it my best shot.
It's all you can do. It's all you can do.
And generally, every bake I do, I do a lot of bakes from Giuseppe's book, Giuseppe Bakes.
I saw you were baking some this week from him, weren't you? Is it the little cookies?
I do some of that, and also I mainly work for myself, but when I go out to work at an office on Tuesday, some of the people there are, it's only a small group, but some of them are dairy intolerant and some of them are gluten intolerant. So I have to do a lot of bakes that are dairy and gluten intolerant. So I feel I'm kind of getting a little niche for dairy and gluten intolerant bakes.
Yeah, because they can be quite hard work. They can be quite difficult.
Yeah, so I haven't got any particular big events coming up, but I'm really enjoying my baking, and I'm ticking along and just doing my bakes and putting them on Instagram. And one of these days I might be able to work out how to do a video on myself that everybody else seems to do, but it's beyond me at the moment.
You do what you do, and you do it well. That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. My partner says to me, "Don't go trying to be like the kids in their 20s. You just make yourself look silly."
So you are Keith Barron 6 on Instagram.
Keith Barron 6.
Right.
And yeah, all the other, we all follow each other and we all like each other's posts.
Perfect.
I haven't quite got the grips with stories yet. The stories baffle me.
I agree.
They say, "Why don't you can re-story it, Keith?" Oh, can I? Oh, can I? Yeah. That's a little bit. I need to go on a course, I think.
I don't know. You just need to get a teenager.
For over 60s.
Get a teenager to be a social media manager. It'll be fine.
I have had a couple of people have offered to do that,
Yeah.
and I may well have to take them up on it because I'm lagging behind the others in terms of followers.
You'll be fine. You'll be fine.
I do, yeah.
Well, thank you so much for sharing all your time with us. It's been so lovely to listen.
It's my pleasure. It's been delightful talking to both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Bronya. Thanks, Sammie.
Thank you.
Cheerio.
I'm so happy that he came on our podcast because we can say we've had a contestant.
And he was so chilled too.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Do you know, I've seen a lot of like Instagram reels and posts over Christmas and over like since the end of the season, you know, to now. And he's on all of them. He's like really still very involved in the whole Great British Bake Off. And it's really nice.
Yes.
Really nice. I was really interested in hearing about the process to apply.
I know. I didn't imagine it would be quite so hard.
Yeah.
And so intense.
I mean,
as well.
I suppose it makes sense if you're going to be on the telly on this worldwide thing, then you need to be TV worthy. But I wasn't quite expecting that. No. But hey.
I was very impressed.
Very, very impressed. And what a lovely man.
Yes, what a lovely man.
What a lovely man. Yeah.
He lives down the road from me.
I know. You're like, mate, you could be pop in for a coffee one day.
Yeah.
Ask him if he's made any scones or anything recently.
Yeah. I could eat a scone now.
Oh, with jam and clotted cream.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, it's tea time now. It is my tea time. My belly's going.
Yeah, same. Right.
Okay. Go on then. Do it.
Right. It's time for product of the week. Product of the week. Product of the week. Should I go first?
Yeah, you go first.
So, I was lucky enough to receive for Christmas,
which might have been my fault.
2 sets of Natalie Porter's Immaculate Confections Perfect Peony Cutter. So I haven't actually used it yet, but I am going to because I kept going, every time I went up to her stand at Cake International, I kept going, I want that. Hence, I got 2.
Should we just tell the story? So Sammie was there also with her friend Sid, who bought her one.
Yeah.
And then I got a message from Sammie's sister before I got there. Went, if there's anything Sammie really wants, can you let me know? Because I need to know what to buy her for Christmas. Yeah. Hence, she got 2.
Yeah. But I have emailed Natalie and asked if I can swap it for something else.
Okay.
But I have to wait and see. If not, hey ho, I've got 2. But so you get a set of 5 petal cutters for peonies. They're absolutely beautiful. All one big petal. So instead of having to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 separate petals.
See, I remember years ago, we used to have 5 petal rose cutters. They were like the rose petals. And I used to really love them. And then I went on a course and learned how to make roses. And I kind of fell out of love with them because I learned to make them with single petals.
Natalie also sells those sets as well.
But I have to say, they were so much quicker and easier to use.
Yeah.
But I think because I then learned how to make roses a different way, I just kind of binned them.
Yeah. So I did a cake recently and used all those sets that you got rid of. Yeah. And
we had hundreds of them because they were how we made roses. It was brilliant.
and I really enjoyed it, and it was just like bish bash bosh.
Yeah.
And did it. But I'm really looking forward to using this peony cutting. So you can get it from Natalie's website.
So it's like a little nest of cutters, isn't it? It's like they all fit to get in one another, don't they?
Yeah.
For storage. So,
yeah. But I'm quite excited to use it.
I'm excited about you making. So I'm waiting to see pictures so then I can put them on our Instagram to go with our Instagram challenge that we're doing. So then I've got content.
Yeah. But I think it's £8.95.
Right.
Off the top of my head.
Yeah. I mean, she does so many amazing things for flowers.
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah.
She's a woman that clearly makes the flowers and has made products, a bit like Christina Giorgio. She makes products that she would use, and that's what I think is always really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my product of the week.
Okay, my product of the week. We got given this quite a while ago, but it's been sat in my drawer for a very long time, and I haven't used it. And I'm like, I need some baking paper. So,
oh my God, I know what you're going to say. Yeah, I've used all mine up. It's brilliant, isn't it?
So when we went to see Rob at, I can't remember, the cake school.
Yes. Down the road.
Actually, the one that Keith was talking about earlier.
Yes.
Rob Baker Gill's. Right. So Rob, he was given a big batch of Bako foil non-stick baking paper with a non-slip base. So it's just baking parchment, but it's got like this tack on the underside. It's made by Bako foil. And he had like a whole box of it that had been given by them, and he gave us a roll each, didn't he?
Yeah.
And I've started using it, and it's the non-stick base thing.
Yeah.
Incredible.
It's brilliant. I really love it.
Because I do like a lot of things on baking sheets, and you put a bit of baking paper on a baking sheet and it slides off.
Yeah.
It just slides into the distance. And
you have to put buttercream on it or something to stick it down.
Or actually, the other thing I use is clips. I use those bulldoggy clip things to clip it down. But this, I don't need bulldog clips because it has a non-stick base. And, of course, it's Bako foil, so it's never going to, your stuff's never going to stick to it. It's good quality stuff.
Quality, mate,
innit? Available at all good supermarkets, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I was stood in the queue just before Christmas, and that I saw loads of it.
Oh, really?
I think it must have been Asda.
I did look online. I did see that Waitrose and Ocado do it. They were the first things that came up. It's not that I shop at Waitrose and Ocado. I'm not that posh, but yeah, it's good. Yeah. I highly recommend.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's it.
That is it.
We'll be around soon with more super guests.
We've
got coming up.
Cassie Brown next week.
Oh, yeah. Excellent.
Cassie Brown.
Queen. Sugar flower queen.
Flowers to die for.
Yeah.
So, we have her next week. Be there or be square.
And don't forget, like, review, subscribe, and do a happy dance around the kitchen. And
send us messages because we love reading your messages.
Yes, please.
And also to the message we read out last week. Someone at number 9. Gosh, I'm so sorry. That sounds awful, doesn't it? Hold on. I'm nearly there. And I will give you another shout out. Homemade at number 9. I knew it was number 9. Homemade at number 9. We read yours out last week. Thank you for your note on our Instagram post this week to say that you loved seeing it. And that's the thing. Send us a message. We'll read it out. You can hear all about it.
Yeah.
Right.
Thank you. Okay, then. I'm going to say bye.